I don't think at all that immigrants take jobs away from native people. I think immigrants are pioneers. They do a lot of jobs that a lot of British people wouldn't do. For instance, cleaning, working in McDonald's, those sorts of jobs which are quite low skilled, sometimes, if you can say, embarrassing. I don't think immigrants take away jobs. And if anything, they bring about competitiveness for jobs, whether they're low skilled or graduate jobs, whatever. It just makes you want to develop yourself better. I don't think they're taking away jobs at all. I don't think a country's cultural life is undermined by immigrants, especially a country like Britain, which has a history of empire. For instance, drinking a cup of tea, it's an Indian thing, but you would think it's British. Fish and chips was made up by Jewish people who used to come here and they used to fry fish, Tikka masala was made up in British shores. It's an Indian thing. It's a British Indian thing. It's just, this culture is so complex, and I think that as long as you preserve your traditions, everything's fine. But if you erode them for whatever reason, then that's a bad thing. But every society should preserve their good traditions. So no, I don't think it threatens culture in Britain. I don't think immigrants make crime problems worse. I think that people from social backgrounds that certain backgrounds bring problems. I think there's too much in the media about the bad things immigrants have brought to England. They don't really talk about wealthy immigrants. They are really pushing up the housing market, for instance. Because of the wealthy immigrants, we still have a flourishing central London housing market, but they don't focus on the wealthy class or the affluent class immigrants. They focus on the poor. If you look at crime statistics, I think you'll find that a lot of, poorer British-born people are causing crime as well. So I think the media just puts a biased representation of immigrants. I don't think immigrants are straining the country's welfare system at all, because they are the ones doing the low-skilled jobs. Not all of them, but a lot of them. I think that because of Britain's complex past, they kind of owe it to some of the countries that the immigrants are coming from, to a lot of these countries that people are fleeing from are messed up, partly because of capitalism, partly because of colonization. So I think it's a complex relationship. I don't think they're a strain. I think anyone who isn't serious about life is a strain on the economic system. Doesn't matter who you are, where you're from. But yeah, especially if you are foreign, you should make the effort to be a benefit. But anyone can be a strain on the economy, and a person is a person, We shouldn't discriminate because of your background. I don't think that immigration or immigrants are a threatening thing. I think what is threatening is if a country loses its native peoples and they are a minority. I think that isn't a good thing, no matter if that country is developing or developed, England or Russia, Pakistan. I think a country should predominantly be full of the people that are natively born to that place. But I don't think that the population of immigrants will ever outdo the native-born population. Only in places that are central, like London, where native-born people are choosing to leave the city, to be in the suburbs. I just don't like that word threatening. It's like they're dangerous, and I don't think it's a fair word, if you like, to use. I think it would be better for society to blend in with the culture here in the UK, or in any culture you go to, just so that you're not too offensive to the others that are around. Some cultures and customs are offensive to others. At the same time, you shouldn't completely lose, for instance, your language and what you do, but you should adapt and, flow with the way things are done in the country that you're in, no matter where you are. And that's vice versa. If the British go somewhere, they should also adapt and flow with the customs and country and practices of the country they're in. I'll definitely give a part of my income if I thought it was going to be used to prevent environmental pollution. See no problem with that. We need to protect what we have. I don't think we're approaching the limit of the number of people the Earth can support. I think it's our lifestyles. If we all live sustainably, it wouldn't be a problem, but of course we don't. Sometimes people call developing countries backward, especially people who live in rural areas. I think that's not a good term to use, or to say they're developing, because the way they live is better for the environment. And if you ask me, they have more foresight into the future because, you know, they live in a way which is green, which is good for them and for their environment. Some of them who eat well are healthier than some of us who are in the West, who are consuming McDonald's, drinking chocolate. You know, we have too much, no exercise and all this stuff. So I don't think that because we are natural, we are nature, we are from the environment, we are human beings, I think it's a very bad thing to say that there is no space for humanity left on the planet which is made for us. But I think the way we are living needs to change if the population will continue to rise, which it is. I don't think when humans interfere with nature, it produces disastrous consequences. The only thing that I can really think of, which I really think is wrong, is what we're doing with our food at the moment, like genetically modified food, how we make, say, perfumes without the real essences or oils, but we just manufacture them chemically. I think that's bad, and that isn't good for us as human beings and for the environment. So sometimes, but not all the time. For instance, if you have a car accident and you need reconstructive plastic surgery, we could leave you to heal and get better, but reconstructive surgery enables you to continue with your life with greater comfort. So I don't think it's always bad, but I think there are cases when it is bad, when we interfere. I think we really need to learn a lot from those countries which, again, are called developing, which are traditional, because the way they live, it's really good for the environment, and it's good for them, and it's good for society at large. I don't know if you can call it ingenuity, because they don't claim to be geniuses, they just live. So I think actually if we become a bit more simple, which is the opposite of ingenuity, we would probably do better. What the capitalist system will do is just move into other parts which are untouched. Unless the capitalists decide they're tired of capitalism, they are the ones who sort of determine how natural resources are used. It's just up to what capitalism wants to do. If it says we're protecting the environment, then fine. If it says no, we're expanding, then I think we will destroy what we have. I don't think we were made to rule, I think we were made to be stewards. As it says in Genesis, if you look at Adam and Eve, which is the ideal life we were supposed to have, Adam wasn't, if you like, a ruler, he was a steward. He just looked after the environment. He maintained it, sort of like a garden. You don't rule a garden, you maintain a garden. And I think when we lose that concern and sense of responsibility, that's when it becomes chaos. Whether or not the garden's been maintained or been destroyed, it can become, if you like, chaotic if it's left unattended. So we're supposed to be custodians and stewards, not in sort of a demeaning way, like we are, on top of environment, of nature, and nature's below us. Not like that, but in a sort of, you're just tending to, the environment that's around you. Yeah, I do think we're heading towards an ecological catastrophe. Because of my fave, I'm not like, it's terrible. Because actually this has been predicted in scriptures. It says in Matthew that in the last days that there'll be more earthquakes, volcanoes, wars. We're moving towards something, and this is written down. And I'm not saying it will happen in our time. I don't know when it will happen, but it does seem like we are aware of what we're doing, but we're not stopping it anyway. And it seems like it's inevitable that eventually we will destroy ourselves unless we wake up and, really change what we're doing. But I think mankind just cares about here and now and not forever. So, humankind, sorry. So, yeah, it's like how I know I should eat healthily and stuff, but I still occasionally go to McDonald's, do you know what I mean?